You're a man who's tired of pretending you don't see it. The constant drama, the silent treatment, the way she disrespects you in public, then plays the victim in private. You feel it in your chest, that tightness, that mix of anger and confusion. You ask yourself, am I the problem? Am I overreacting? But deep down, you know something is off. Not just with her, with you. Because a stoic warrior doesn't beg for crumbs of respect. He doesn't explain his worth to someone who enjoys tearing it down. He doesn't stay loyal to a battlefield that's already decided he should lose. Right now, you might be stuck in a loop. She disrespects you. You forgive. She crosses a line. You rationalize. She pulls away. You chase harder. This is how strong men slowly become weak. Not all at once. One ignored red flag at a time. Stoicism is not about being numb. It's about being unshakable. It's about seeing clearly, setting standards, and walking away from what poisons your mind and your mission. In this video, you're going to learn 6 warning signs of a truly toxic woman through the eyes of Stoic philosophy. 6 signs that a man with self-respect does not tolerate. 6 signs that show you exactly when it's time to stop explaining, stop fixing, and start walking. We're going to break down how a toxic woman targets your emotions, your boundaries, your sense of self. We'll connect that to modern psychology, trauma bonds, manipulation, love bombing, gaslighting. Then we'll forge something different inside you. A dangerous calm, an unshakable center. The kind of man who can look chaos in the eye and say, "Not my life. Not anymore." If you've ever been ghosted after giving your best, if you've ever stayed with someone who made you feel small, insecure, or crazy, if you've ever felt your discipline crumble because you were addicted to her attention, this isn't just another relationship video. This is a mirror. This is you seeing the truth you've avoided. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot control her behavior. You cannot control her games, her mood swings, her loyalty, or her lack of it. But you can control what you allow into your world. You can control who gets access to your heart, your time, and your energy. That's what this is really about. Not hating women. Not becoming bitter, but becoming so grounded, so clear, that no toxic person, woman, or anyone else can pull you off your path. Before we go deeper, if you're ready to stop tolerating disrespect and start moving like a stoic warrior, make sure you subscribe and stay in this brotherhood. Share this with a man who needs to wake up. And drop this in the comments right now. I choose respect over chaos. Because the moment you say that, you're no longer just a guy in pain. You're a man drawing a line. In a moment, we'll begin with the first brutal warning sign. The kind of behavior that looks like love on the surface. But underneath, it's a slow, quiet attack on your confidence and your peace. You're about to see it clearly, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. You've just drawn a line in your mind. I choose respect over chaos. Now it's time to put definition behind that line. Because if you can't name the poison, you keep drinking it. The first warning sign of a truly toxic woman is this. She feeds on your confusion. I call it emotional fog. At first, she's everything. She floods you with attention, affection, constant messages, big words like, "I've never felt this way before." You feel chosen, seen, wanted. Then slowly, she pulls it away. takes longer to reply, starts flirting with other guys online as a joke, gets cold when you bring up something serious. You're left pacing around, wondering, what did I do wrong? That confusion is not an accident. It's control. Modern psychology calls it intermittent reinforcement. She gives you just enough affection to keep you hooked, then withdraws it to keep you chasing. A Stoic man must see the pattern, not just the moment. Epictetus warned, when someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. A toxic woman trains you to do the opposite. She makes her attention the sun you orbit around, but your mind is your temple. Your time is your currency. Your attention is your sword. When you notice your mood rising and crashing based on her messages, her tone, her validation, that's emotional fog. A Stoic warrior steps back. He says, if my peace is this tied to one person, I am not free. Your affirmation here, my peace will never be someone else's toy. The second warning sign, your boundaries are treated as a joke or a challenge. When you say, I don't tolerate yelling, she raises her voice and calls you sensitive. When you say, I need time to work on my goals, she pouts, guilt trips you, or starts a fight right before you leave. When you say, I'm not okay with you flirting with other men, she laughs and says, relax, it's just social media. Listen carefully. Healthy people adjust to reasonable boundaries. Toxic people get offended by them. Seneca said, no person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they do not have. You don't have the power to force her to respect your standards, but you have the power to stop wanting a woman who tramples them. Every time you bend a boundary to keep her, you teach her your lines are written in sand. Every time you enforce a boundary and are willing to walk, you teach her your standards are carved in stone. Your affirmation here, I do not negotiate my self-respect. The third warning sign, subtle contempt. Not the obvious screaming match, the little cuts. She mocks your dreams in front of friends, makes jokes about your money, your looks, your masculinity, compares you to her ex or to other men online, rolls her eyes when you speak about something that matters to you. At first, you brush it off. You tell yourself, she's just playing. But your nervous system remembers every cut. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Now ask yourself, what happens to the quality of your mind when the person closest to you is constantly planting seeds of you're not enough? A Stoic warrior cannot afford to keep a voice at his side that tears him down while he's trying to build his life up. So you pause. You watch her actions as if you were watching a movie about someone else's life. Would you tell that man to stay or to leave? Your affirmation here, I only allow voices that sharpen me, not break me. These three signs alone, emotional fog, disrespected boundaries, and subtle contempt, are enough to drain years of your life, discipline, and potential. Ignore them, and you become a man constantly explaining himself to someone who enjoys misunderstanding him. In the next part, we'll go even deeper. You'll see how toxic women weaponize your ambition, your empathy, and your fear of being alone, and how a Stoic man responds with calm, cold clarity. You've seen the first three signs: emotional fog, broken boundaries, subtle contempt. If you're honest, one of those already hit you in the gut. Now we go deeper, because a toxic woman doesn't just attack your present. She digs into your past, your future, your identity. The fourth warning sign, she weaponizes your vulnerability. At first, you open up. You tell her about your childhood, your fears, your insecurities, the breakup that shattered you, the betrayal that still stings. She listens closely. She says all the right words. I'm not like them. I'd never do that to you. And then one day, in an argument, she uses your deepest wound as a knife. That's why your ex left you. No wonder your father treated you like that. Any other woman would have walked away from you already. Suddenly, your safe space becomes a battlefield. Your honesty becomes ammunition. Epictetus said, "How long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself?" Ask yourself, is the best for you a woman who turns your pain into leverage? A Stoic warrior doesn't become cold. He becomes selective. He understands that his story is sacred. If someone throws it back in his face, they are not his partner. They are his enemy. Your affirmation, my vulnerability is a gift, not a weapon for others to use. The fifth warning sign, she competes with your mission. When you're with the right woman, your purpose gets sharper. You train harder. You focus more. You feel supported in your grind. With a toxic woman, it's the opposite. You tell her you're staying in to work on your business. She starts a fight. You decide to hit the gym instead of going out. She accuses you of not caring. You talk about your long-term goals. She calls you unrealistic, boring, or obsessed. Little by little, you start skipping workouts, delaying plans, losing momentum, just to keep her happy. But she's never really happy, because your growth threatens her control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Is it right to sacrifice your purpose to calm someone else's insecurity? Is it true that love requires you to abandon the man you're meant to become? A Stoic man understands his mission is not negotiable. Any relationship that demands he drop his sword is a trap. Your affirmation, my purpose comes before anyone's insecurity. The sixth warning sign, she is always the victim, never responsible. No matter what happens, it's never her fault. She lies? It's because you made her feel unsafe. She flirts with other guys? It's because you weren't giving enough attention. She explodes in rage? It's because you pushed her too far. There is no apology, only excuses, no accountability, only blame. Seneca said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." But your mind cannot be unconquerable if you keep letting someone rewrite reality around you. A toxic woman will have you apologizing for things you didn't do, accepting blame for emotions that aren't yours, and feeling guilty for simply wanting peace. A Stoic warrior steps back and says, if there is always a villain, and it's always me, I'm not in a relationship. I'm in a narrative she's controlling. Your affirmation, I refuse to be the villain in someone else's fiction. Now look at all 6 signs together. Emotional fog, mocked boundaries, subtle contempt, weaponized vulnerability, war against your mission, perpetual victimhood. Ignore them, and your life becomes a constant storm. Your discipline dissolves. Your sleep gets lighter. Your focus shatters. Your self-respect bleeds out slowly, day after day. Face them, and something else happens. You begin to rise. You start seeing yourself, not as a desperate man, afraid to lose her, but as a Stoic warrior, deciding who is worthy of standing beside him on the path. In the next part, we're going to pull all of this together. We'll step out of just red flags and into something bigger, the identity shift. How a man like you transforms from reactive, hurt, and confused into calm, disciplined, and untouchable, no matter who walks into or out of his life. By now, something inside you has shifted. You're not just listing red flags anymore. You're seeing your life from above, like a warrior standing on a hill, finally seeing the whole battlefield, the emotional fog, the broken boundaries, the subtle contempt, the weaponized vulnerability, the attack on your mission, the endless victimhood. These aren't random behaviors. Together, they form a pattern. And that pattern has been shaping a version of you that is smaller than who you are meant to be. You may look back and feel a sting of shame. Shame that you stayed. Shame that you chased. Shame that you explained yourself 1,000 times to someone who didn't want to understand. But listen carefully. A Stoic warrior does not drown in shame. He uses it as information, a mirror, not a prison. There's a moment every man reaches if he's honest. He looks in that mirror and realizes it's not just about her. It's about who I allowed myself to become around her. Right there, in that realization, is your power. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. If your time is limited, why spend another day in a war that only destroys you? Why give another year of your life to explaining, proving, begging, and breaking? This isn't just about spotting toxic women. It's about becoming a man whose standards are so clear, toxic energy simply can't breathe in his atmosphere. Picture a storm. The old you is in the middle of it, running around, trying to catch every piece of flying debris, trying to hold on to the relationship, trying to fix her wounds, trying to stop the wind with your bare hands. The man you are becoming does something different. He walks to the center of that storm and goes still. He stops arguing with chaos. He stops chasing validation. He stops trying to save someone who doesn't want to save herself. He chooses calm over control, action over overthinking, self-respect over attachment. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Sometimes walking away from a toxic woman will make you look like the villain to her friends, maybe even to people who don't know the whole story. They won't see the nights you couldn't sleep, the panic in your chest, the way your discipline collapsed under the weight of constant drama. That's okay. A Stoic warrior accepts being misunderstood in the short term to protect his long-term life. This is where your identity shifts. You are no longer the man who says, "I hope she sees my worth." You become the man who says, "I see my worth. If she doesn't, she's not for me." No more begging for closure. No more trying to win arguments that go nowhere. No more sacrificing your mission for someone's chaos. You are aligning with a different path now. A path where you guard your mind like a fortress. Where your heart is open, but not unprotected. Where your standards are clear, calm, and non-negotiable. In the final part, we're going to bring it all together. You'll get practical marching orders, concrete ways to live as a Stoic warrior in your relationships, your work, and your daily habits, so you never again trade your peace for a toxic connection. You've walked through the fire. Now it's time to step out as something forged, not burned. You've seen the battlefield. You've seen the patterns. And more importantly, you've seen yourself. This is where everything tightens into one clear path. No more confusion. No more second guessing whether you're asking for too much when all you wanted was respect. Let's bring this home. Those 6 warning signs weren't random. Emotional fog, disrespected boundaries, subtle contempt, weaponized vulnerability, war against your mission, endless victimhood. Ignore them, and you become a man living in reaction mode. You lose sleep, you lose focus, you lose years to conversations that go in circles and apologies that never meant anything. Face them, and you become something else entirely. A man with dangerous calm. A man who doesn't raise his voice, but raises his standards. A man who doesn't chase, but chooses. Here's what that looks like in real life. First, you stop arguing with reality. If she shows you she is toxic, you believe what she shows you, not the fantasy in your head. You don't wait for the perfect apology, the ideal timing, the fair ending. You accept what is in front of you. Then you create space. You pull your energy back. Less texting, less calling, less explaining yourself to someone who has already made up their mind about you. That space is not a game. It is a boundary. It's you saying, my mind, my mission, my body, my future are not playgrounds for someone else's chaos. Next, you redirect the fire. All that obsessive thinking, all that pain, all that tightness in your chest, you turn it into fuel. You hit the gym with discipline. You work on your craft, your money, your body, your skills. You journal the truth, not the fantasy. What she did, how you felt, what you allowed, and who you are choosing to be from this point on. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This situation, this heartbreak, this toxic dynamic, it's not just an obstacle. It's a doorway, a test, a forge. When you use Stoicism, you don't just get over her. You get over the version of you that was addicted to her. From now on, your standard is simple. If a woman costs you your peace, she is too expensive. If she mocks your boundaries, she loses access. If she competes with your mission, she disqualifies herself. If she turns your vulnerability into a weapon, she reveals her character, and you respond with distance, not debate. You become the man who walks away quietly. No long speeches, no dramatic exit. Just a calm decision. This is not aligned with the life I am building. And then you follow through. Let this be your new identity. You are a stoic warrior. You observe more than you explain. You enforce more than you beg. You choose solitude over disrespect. You choose your mission over manipulation. There will be moments you're tempted to go back. Comfort will call. Old messages will pull at you. Your mind will replay the good moments and mute the bad ones. In those moments, you remember. You are not walking away from love. You are walking away from self-betrayal. You're not losing a woman. You are regaining yourself. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Bravery isn't just charging into battle. Sometimes bravery is deleting the number, blocking the access, sitting alone with the discomfort, and choosing your future over your feelings. If this message hits you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with a man who is stuck in a toxic situation and needs to hear it. Like this video, subscribe, and stay connected to this brotherhood of men choosing discipline, respect, and dangerous calm over chaos. And drop this final affirmation in the comments. I choose my peace, my mission, and my standards. Because that's who you are now. Not a man begging to be chosen, but a stoic warrior who chooses his path, his circle, and his destiny. Walk forward. The battlefield is behind you. Your life is ahead.